Hey everyone, I'm back with another crazy Risk of Rain 2 build, and this one is all centered around one single item, the Benthic bloom. And if you're not familiar, this one pickup has the power to theoretically infinitely generate legendary red items. So needless to say, it's pretty game-changing. It might not be the strongest item in the game, but it's certainly run-defining, as it entirely breaks the conventions of Risk of Rain 2 as we know it. And this run right here, this is literally my first ever try at going for a Benthic bloom build, which I think just goes to show how insane it really is, because A, I'm definitely not the greatest player around, and B, the moment I get it, everything starts to snowball. And it all culminates in the most ridiculous Mithrix fight I have ever seen. What's interesting though is this is not a straightforward god run. There are times further on where I'm actually less powerful than I was a few stages prior. It's pretty interesting. But let's back up a second here and take a look at my game plan. How am I actually gonna go about acquiring the Benthic bloom? Well, the first thing is I use my encrusted key to get an encrusted key. Because one of the ways to get a Benthic bloom is to use an encrusted key on those little void chests. And I probably made a mistake by going for that right away, but luckily I got it back. And at the end of stage 2, because I picked up that executive card, I've got 22 items. And it's gonna be really important to get a lot of items, as you're soon gonna find out. So it's very lucky that I picked that up. But I keep using these encrusted keys to hopefully get the Benthic bloom because it is a legendary item. It is the purple variant of the 57 leaf clover. Unfortunately, I got the pluripotent larva right away, which is the other red item you can get. But by stage 4, there it is, the Benthic bloom. Gotta clear some enemies here so I don't die while picking it up. But what this item does, it's kind of like egocentrism in that it takes your items and turns them into another item. But this one, this one's a little crazy. Because if you read the description there, it says it's gonna upgrade 3 of your item stacks to a tier higher. Which means, let's say you have a white item, all of that white item is going to get changed to a green item. If you have a green item, all of that green item is going to get changed to a red item. And it's not taking individual items, like I said, like egocentrism, it's taking the entire stack. So you got to be very careful. There, I almost forgot that I got that frostbite over there, so this guy picked up frost relic, frostbite, what am I talking about at the very end? But this is where the run starts to get a little bit interesting. So by stage 5 now, I've got a handful of red items. It's not enough to be game breaking, it's not enough to be game changing, but it's a start. And the thing with Benthic bloom is that it may start slow, but very soon it's going to escalate. So I'm gonna do a few loops here. I'm gonna upgrade some of my items, and then at some point everything is gonna change. Now this is one of the stupidest boss fights I've done in my life, so I'm gonna take a little bit of time to slow down here, since I'm just floating up in the sky, and explain some of my strategy. So I mentioned I made a bit of a mistake earlier on by using the encrusted key right away, because what I should have done instead is pick up at least one more rusted key before using it up, so I have a guaranteed void chest on the next level. But I was impatient, I really wanted to get the Benthic bloom right away, so I was just going for it. And luckily, I got really lucky, and I got it out of a normal void potential. I can count on my hands the number of times I've gotten it out of a normal void potential. So that was really fortunate. The other thing, picking up that executive card like I mentioned, really important, because as you can see right here, I'm on stage 6, I have 10 red items already, and you're gonna wanna get as many items as you possibly can. Because if this Benthic bloom is stealing your items, then you're gonna want a wide variety. And variety is important there. On my second frost relic as an ordinary drop. Little funny there. You can see I already got 3 ceremonial daggers and I got a brilliant behemoth, so the damage is ramping up quite a bit. Early on, I definitely got lucky with my item drops. Certainly the executive card, certainly the Benthic bloom like I mentioned, but also my Kyaro's bands. I got quite a number of those. And that's really going to help with the damage output early on. Because if one of my good items gets stolen in the, let's say, 2nd or 3rd stage of the Benthic bloom, I could just lose. I could just lose right away. I mean, look how I'm playing. I'm at half HP already. That's a little bad. And next level here, getting me a headset, which is pretty good. No longer taking fall damage when I zoom up into the sky with Void Fiend. And that transitions into the next topic that I really want to get into, which is Void Fiend. I picked Void Fiend with a specific purpose here. The reason being that there's one way that I thought of before starting this run to really counteract the effects, the negative effects, I should say, of the Benthic Bloom. And I'm going to show you what it is in just a little bit here as I pick up these Lost Seer's lenses. You see, purple items, which are the void variants of normal items, work in a very interesting way. The Benthic Bloom is one of them, where it corrupts all of the stacks, all of the items of a certain item. It's a weird way of saying it, but you kind of get what I'm saying, which is if I have Lensmaker's glasses, now they're all going to turn into Lost Seer's lenses. And what's great about that is that purple items aren't necessarily a tier that can be upgraded. So white items, for example, like I said, will turn into green, and green will turn into red, but purple will stay purple, which means I have guaranteed items in my inventory that won't ever change. And that's really valuable because the Benthic Bloom is a full-on random number generator. I have no idea what's going to change. You can see it does change based on type. Like the speed increases are going to turn into speed increases, or the health items are going to turn into health items. But I don't know which of the three in a certain level is going to change. I certainly didn't want an Aegis, but I ended up with one. It's going to be a very funny interaction here, coming up with this Clay Dune Strider. You're going to see, almost carries me off the map. So much so that my voice is cracking. I re-entered puberty with that one. And the damage is starting to ramp up a little bit. This, of course, is nothing compared to what's to come, but you can start to see a little bit of where things are going. I got a couple more encrusted keys to hopefully change up some of my builds here, but the headset is really where this build is, what this build is going to be carried by for a while, because that is maybe the best red item in the game. So much so I had to say it twice there. And I do want to pick up a recycler here just so I can get another chance at that singularity band. If I was playing this today, I would probably just take that singularity band instead of trying to recycle it into something different, because like I mentioned, I don't want my bands to be taken away, and it's a random chance that they will. So anyway, I got a bit sidetracked there. Unfortunately, it turned into a lysite cell, which is literally useless on my character. It does nothing. But going back to the topic of the character, specifically Void Fiend, because if you're stacking up on purple items, you're going to see that percentage bar that allows me to transform into my Super Saiyan form is going to have an increased baseline percentage. So you start at 0, but the more the more purple items you get, red is just on my mind here, headset carrying me, like I mentioned in this boss fight. Hardlight Afterburner, also going to be great. A lot of mobility. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. This is also the stupidest thing I ever could have done. You can even see my gameplay here. I don't know why I did that. But basically, this is going to allow me to, hopefully by the end of this, become Super Saiyan full-time. Because as you increase the number of purple items, the baseline percentage of the minimum is going to go up and up and up and up. And you can go up to 100%. So you have 100% uptime. But here we go. We've made one full loop. Since picking up this Benthic Bloom Poly Loot is going to be a great pickup. Already, we have an insane item. We have 8 stacks of symbiotic scorpions. So you're going to see, I accidentally hit the skybox there and could have died to these guys, which is a little bit scary. But as I turn to fight this, there's already 157, I couldn't even see how many stacks of scorpion there were. Hundreds immediately. I barely shot them at all. So this is why I'm saying this item is game breaking, because in no world should I be on stage 9 able to, with the Void Fiend, a character that typically does not have the fastest fire rate, apply so many debuff stacks, removing armor from essentially an elite boss, whatever that enemy classification is called, right as the level is starting. But here I am. And once again, the headset really coming in clutch there, because I don't have to worry about fall damage, as I'm going to be bouncing around quite a bit. I used my Trophy Hunter's Tricorn to get a free boss item here, because this is actually, if I can peel back the curtain here, recorded quite a bit ago. And I didn't know what these Void Devastators, clearly I didn't even know the name of them, were going to drop for that. So I was a bit curious. I'm getting stuck in geometry already. I'm a 9th grader, got held back in that. And, so what am I doing? So what am I doing? It turns out as I was recording this, I got a notification on my phone saying that a class I was really trying to get into had a slot open up. So midway through, without thinking that I could potentially get demolished instantly, given that this is stage 9, and we're in the ha 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 category of enemies, I just picked up my phone, enrolled in the class, clutched up, killed the boss, no harm, no foul, never punished. And I picked myself up a Ben's raincoat for my troubles. Really, honestly, pretty good that I got a red item there, because you can never have too many. And this is one of the mistakes that I make in the run. I pick up the boss item, the newly hatched Zoa, whatever it's called. It flashed by too quickly. Now I'm a little lost in my own thoughts. And this thing is gonna cause my game to lag. I'm just gonna spoil it right away. Because this has a chance to spawn these void enemies for you. And, or does it automatically spawn? I should really do some research, but you can see, maybe it's on a timer, the void chailer already spawned. The more enemies that are on the map, the greater the chance of something lagging. And I have all of these bottled chaoses, so I was like, what if I point towards the grandparent while opening up a chest? Because bottled chaos activates an equipment when you activate your equipment, and activating my equipment I do by opening chests because I have the executive card, and then despawn the pre-on. So it literally did nothing. So it was pointless. Right now, I'm seeing my first scavengers, which are going to be great because they're going to drop about 10 items, I believe. And more items, like I said, is good because right now I'm outpacing the Benthic Bloom. But there's always a chance that a Benthic Bloom turns into a Benthic Bloom. Because a Benthic Bloom is the purple variant of... this is a stupid... I'm just going to let it speak for itself. The Benthic Bloom is a purple variant of the 57-leaf clover. I stopped all my momentum there, and then somehow it still hit. I don't understand how this game works sometimes. And let's say something turns in to a 57-leaf clover by complete random chance. Well, because it's a purple item that corrupts all of the items that it takes over, there's a chance that in transitioning from whatever item was previously to a 57-leaf clover, I just generate more Benthic Blooms per level. So whatever turns into a 57-leaf clover then instantly turns into Benthic Bloom, and then suddenly 12 stacks of items per level is changing, and I have no control over my build, and I can't get any items, and I have no speed, and nothing is going right. There I was being a bit goofy, because I saw that there was a refrigerator on the ground, and I could use that to constantly activate my equipment, which then activates more equipment. Trying to step on a rock, didn't really work out. Going for one more loop here, picking up some red items naturally. And all of a sudden, I can't control my movement. Now, you can look at the top of the screen and see what my item build is like, but things are starting to get a little bit out of control. Because I can't keep up with what's happening. I thought that was an enemy. No, it turns out it's the newly hatched little egg boy there. And, and this is just the start. I think I've said that a couple times, but the turns that this run takes, it doesn't end. The turns don't end until the very last fight in the game. Which is why I was so pumped with this here run. But I'm going to take a little bit of a step back. So I've been talking for about half the length of this run so far. And I should mention maybe the elephant in the room, or maybe not if this is your first video here. I've been gone for a really long time, so I'm just going to spend a brief 30 seconds updating y'all on why I've been so absent as you see me really struggling to control my character here. Basically, I just got super busy trying to juggle too many balls, wear too many hats while still being in school. And I was not able to really think about this channel here at all. Just going to the skybox again, while also trying to manage the main one. And, you know, Risk of Rain 2, Eggstew, I think about it all the time. Not in a Charlie XCX way. I think I'm just about done, though. And thinking about returning. And I'm back now. So just about done with all the stuff that got in the way. And this is the first of the return video. So I'm back. I'm very happy to be back. I know that was a very kind of messy way to end that sentence, but I got distracted by the gameplay. So maybe I get back to talking about the gameplay because this level has it's just maybe the funniest interaction of this entire run. You're going to see the absolute incompetence of me as a gamer. And you know what? I'm not afraid to show you because I'm never going to be good. I think it's honestly funnier that I'm kind of complete. You're just gonna see just a moron. I'm trying to get the blue orb because I want to see if I go to Newt, am I able to double the effects of the Benthic Bloom? Because that counts as going to a new level. And I'm moving so fast that I literally can't get to him. Because my speed items are the red whip, of which I have 10. Which makes you way faster when you're out of combat. So I'm like, I gotta get out of combat so that my movement ability doesn't launch me into the skybox. And if you look at the top right, that took me like 5 minutes. It took me like 5 minutes to get there. Could I have walked? Yes, of course. But I saw a challenge, and I wanted to overcome the challenge. Now I get Void Sent Flame, which is a power spike. You're gonna you're gonna see the map start to get eviscerated, because Void Sent Flame is an item that activates the first time someone gets hit. And I also have Ceremonial Daggers, which, when someone gets killed, they target and initiate a first hit on someone else. And then of course I have all of these different items that combo, and yes, it's true, Newt does activate the Benthic Bloom, so I have even more items turning into green, into red items, and just starting to scale up and up and up. All the while, barely managing to control my character here, barely understanding what's happening, but also simultaneously being surprised at how slow the progression is. I say immediately I have to pick up another Benthic Bloom. Okay, so the progression is now going to double. But more than that, it's actually not going to double, because once again, Benthic Blooms can turn into Benthic Blooms, and also as there's fewer and fewer items to choose from, I'm going to get more and more reds, which means that the essential items are going to start to get removed. And suddenly I might be at risk of dying here. Surprisingly, that's the first ATG missile I've picked up in the run. You know what I'm saying? So there's still items I have yet to get. But as the pool gets smaller and smaller, it's gonna start to get a little bit more ridiculous. Now here, I think this is the first time I've ever gotten a scavenger as my friend. Shout out to the 4 happiest masks I picked up. The luck is unaltered because I don't have a 57-leaf clover. I'm picking up a recycler to hopefully change this into something that I want. It didn't really turn out, so I just figured, why don't I play some fun games here using the fireworks that I picked up and destroy the entire map with a refrigerator. So that's pretty cool. I actually almost died to my own refrigerator. I just moved, and when I moved in, the refrigerator wasn't on properly, and so I put a lot of meats in there, and then they all went bad within 1 day because I also don't have AC, and it's, well, it's a little hot. Maybe it's a little hot. Maybe I'm drenched in sweat right now. That's okay, because I made it to stage 14 already. Instant 50% void charge, or Super Saiyan charge, whatever you want to call it. And my speed is gone. All of my go-tos suddenly disappeared, and unless I'm out of combat, I'm going to be a slug on the battlefield. And if you know anything about... Look at this! Why am I moving this slow? This is also at like 1.25x speed. I should not be on stage 14, barely able to dodge incoming attacks. And speed might be one of the most important things in Risk of Rain 2, so that's terrifying me a little bit. Luckily I have 2 extra lives, but it's not really going to help out too much when everything one-shots you. Little scary there. It's going to get worse. I think it's going to get a little bit worse. Good thing my offensive capabilities are strong enough, because if enemies instantly get deleted before they can even attack you, then you're not at risk of dying at all. The problem is some enemies can do some things that are not so good. Like, for example, running into... By the way, here I have 221 items. I think I was showing off there. If I run into any of these malachite spikes on the ground, run might just be over like that. I don't know if you can hear me snap. That was a way more satisfying one. I learned that snapping is not the sound of your fingers. It's the sound of your finger hitting your palm, apparently. So maybe I'm a dumbass and didn't know that. Look at how slow... I should not be this powerful moving this slowly. Luckily, I also have brain stalks, which means that once I, power up, I'm going to be able to use forward momentum instead of zooming up and forward, but this is starting to get weird. There's too many things on my screen, and I don't know what's happening, and I'm a little lost. But luckily, the Risk of Rain 2 gods were nice to me and gave me a little bit of a boost here. So picking up 11 of the goat hooves is going to make this so much nicer, so much better. You can see I've been playing for just over an hour now. And if you look at the top, it does not look like that. An hour build should not look like that. Finally, I got safer spaces, which is a godsend, because that's going to protect you from 1 guaranteed hit. And then I pick up the crowdfunder just for fun, because I want to see what this is like. Now I'm going to do one more loop here. I think I mentioned I was going to do one last one before. I decided, I'm going to do one more, because this isn't crazy enough yet. This isn't crazy. This is just like I'm too good for where I am in the stage, not in terms of skill, in terms of the items that I have. So I'm like, what if I scrap all of my happiest masks so I no longer lag out? What if I build up a little bit more power, get a little bit better of a foundation, and then fight Mithrix with, let's say, like 260 red items. And just see what happens. And just see what happens. I'm not even looking at the bosses now. And they're exploding. They are just exploding. Now this recording day was also very interesting. Oh, had to restart my recording here. I think my computer overheated and stopped working. So that's scary. But the circumstances surrounding, I think, is what I was talking about here. Just getting some more power, picking up some more ATGs, which are going to convert into plasma shrimps. And yeah, so I recorded this January of 2023. So more than a year and a half ago. Shocking that I remember it this well. But I guess I did watch it back a little bit before that to kind of put this together. That explains the terrible aim. Okay, surely I've gotten so much better since then. Surely you can't judge me about that. It was the first day of school, and it was pouring rain, flooding in the streets. So I was like, well, I gotta rush home. This is me using the crowdfunder, by the way. And then at the same time, I literally just finished getting the highest rank in Brawlhalla, which is the game I play on the main channel. With 1 day left, I had to win like 100 games to get Valhallan, which was the highest rank. And then midway through this, I had the school thing. There was just a lot going on. I was exhausted, but this made my day. There was a lot. I mean, getting the rank was also pretty nice, but with the timer counting down, it was a little bit stressful. This run made me so happy. It made me so happy because it was the first try at Benthic Bloom. And here, the reason why I bring that up and why I brought it up in the beginning is because I really don't think I did anything special. Yes, I did get a really good head start because I got it on, what, stage 4 pretty early, and I got that executive card early, which let me get a lot of items, but it's not like that was make or break. I think this item, the Benthic Bloom, is look at the cooldown on my headset, by the way. Every single jump, I can use it. I can use the big slam. No matter what happened, really, I feel like eventually you're gonna reach this point if you use this item. Because there's only so many red items, and there's only so many combinations of just insanity that can lead to a billion damage before everything on the map is getting eviscerated. And right here, did you catch that at the bottom? You're gonna see it one more time here. My Benthic Blooms just turned into Benthic Blooms. Because I got 57 Leaf Clover by going to Newt's Altar, the bazaar, and then those immediately turned into Benthic Blooms. So now I have 4 stacks. And this is what I mean by things are gonna snowball. Because I'm already, like, every single jump going to the skybox, and like, I don't know how to control my character without just walking in place. But it also doesn't matter, because my explosions, my AoE are so massive that the moment something spawns, it's getting deleted. So things are starting to get even more strange, and I'm ready to hang up the curtain. Now, I was about to hit that Shrine of the Order. I thought it would be so funny, but also at the same time, I had to see this through to the end. And that's why you gotta be careful. That's why you gotta be careful jumping around. This is not just child's play at this point. I actually have to pay attention because who knows? My normal jump that goes into the skybox and me just trying to reach the ground normally almost just killed me. And it almost just ended it. I forgot I have 5 Flurpentant Larbas. So maybe it wouldn't have ended actually. Maybe I'm being dramatic. Maybe I never know when I have extra lives. Okay, I'm just getting into my head here. I'm getting into the mind space. I'm putting myself in someone else's shoes, and someone else is me from a year ago, who was a lot more on top of things, apparently. I promise I'm back. I promise I'm back. Newt is now getting eliminated in 1 single shot. And then I think this is the round. I think this is the one where I start to get really scared. Because if you look at the top, where are my white items? And where are my green items? I have 11 wax quails, so that's my movement. But other than that, it's all red, and it's all purple, pretty much. Infusions ain't doing anything for me. Kiaro's bans are completely redundant. Ignition tanks, like whatever. Damage over time, not really a factor at this point. Now I'm scared. Cause I can't do anything to evade a billion enemies jumping on me. If a Void Reaper suddenly pops up out of nowhere, or a Void Jailer shoots out their departing shot, maybe it just kills me. And maybe I got stun locked in a point where I'm just dying and respawning over and over and over again. So, I'm still trying to collect some items. You can see by this point, I've traversed the stage in this janky movement. And finally, I'm ready. I'm like, alright. I'm done with this. I saw this through to the end. I almost hit the Shrine of Order. let's just do it. Let's just do it. At this point, I've got pretty much an entire red and purple arsenal because, well, what is the regenning scrap going to do in combat? And we've reached our final stage. Before the boss, this is the final stage. Once again, this is on 1.25x speed, the playback, so the speed at which I'm moving is even faster than you'd expect. Or than it actually is what I should say. Because I'm way slower than you'd expect. Given that I'm on stage 20, and I'm killing enemies this fast, somehow still getting red item drops despite all of them. Of course it's an Aegis, because I really needed myself an 8th Aegis. Look at my HP, by the way. Pretty sick. And at this point, I'm just hoping for speed. I'm just hoping for speed. It's been what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items so far, and nothing. No speed. So I'm just like, alright, I'm gonna zoom using my fast forward ability here, which I do have to be a little bit mindful of it going all the way down in case I need to zoom out of danger, but it appears that that's no longer a threat because I have 29 ceremonial daggers that are all gonna fly across the map the moment one thing is killed and just explode everyone. Gups. Okay. I'm sorry that you were ever born. You almost bricked my PC by spawning in. Thankfully. Thankfully I was not doing a voiceover recording at the same time to add even more processing to whatever is happening. But I'm ready to finish this thing. Because I'm starting to, of course, the very last purple that I see is a lysate cell, literally a useless item. Because I don't have speed. I don't have evasion. I'm just slugging it through the map. I got 259 red items. 259. 259. This is not even a 2-hour run. It's not even an hour and a half, and I have 259 red items. That is. I'm not playing Risk of Rain 2 at this point. And then I saw this on the moon. Luckily enough, got a white item pool. And now I have 57 crowbars. Now I'm just waiting around, hoping for my equipment to recharge, because I can't jump up there, I don't think. These guys try to spawn and spawn camp me. Not gonna do that. And given that I have so many bottled chaos that summon so many equipments after using my own, I figured the chances were good of getting an eccentric vase. Eccentric vase all the way to the top, which I did, luckily enough. And now comes the Mithrix fight. Now the first shot of this fight is the most important. I hate myself. Yeah, so I thought maybe I wanted to see how much damage it would do if I just hit him with a big explosion right away. And turns out it was a little underwhelming, I think because I didn't apply any of the debuffs yet. Stage 2 is a bit trivial, given that I have all of these on-kill effects, but I can't reach my opponents, which was an issue, and I was scared about missing, I'm gonna be honest, I was scared about being embarrassed and missing my right click again, so I didn't go for it. Alright, I just didn't go for it, because I thought y'all were gonna bully me. I thought you were gonna bully me. Alright, stage 3 is over, and now the real fight begins. This is... I can't believe how stupid I am. You're gonna see very, very early on that I don't know what I'm doing. Because I'm way too close. I'm gonna use my mouse too. He's still immune. I'm gonna keep shooting my mouse too. I'm about to die. And then the first item I get back is the larva. Which, thank God, because all of this would be for nothing if I didn't get that larva right away. If I didn't use my key, if I played smartly, I might have lost this run. But because I was dumb early and got the larva as like my first void item, I end up being able to survive. And despite getting launched into oblivion, I respawn, teleport right back to Mithrix, and that's the end of the fight. And then for good measure, I think my own Void Jailer just killed me. So, somehow, despite dying like 5 times in the fight, and doing nothing, and being stupid, the mistake I made at the very beginning of the run actually ended up being the reason why I won. So, mistakes can be good. I mean, look at me. I don't know why. I say that. And then for good measure, I activated that Shrine of Order. I don't know why I still have a billion dashes forward. I shouldn't. But that's the run. We're gonna see my stats as I leave the planet here, or I guess leave the moon. And Risk of Rain 2 logo. Skip ahead here. What's it gonna be? I actually haven't even looked at this. 62 million damage with 218 reds. How did it go down?